Okay, welcome everybody to another Modern League. Going to be playing an old favourite through today. We are back with the Rhinos. So this is by a MTG pilot, Hero Xiang. Sorry if I've absolutely butchered that pronunciation, but it looks like they played quite a lot of Rhinos. And this list they did well in one of the recent Modern challenges, so I thought I'd give it a go. Always wanting to check in on how Rhinos is in the meta and how it's doing. So not too much to say. It is on the Leyline Scion deal. So yeah, obviously this combo, if you have Leyline, go packed out, and Scion, it gives all your creatures all of Scion's keywords. And two Brazen Borrower. We're only on three Force of Negation here, is 1 point, and two Brazen Borrower. So yeah, pretty interesting looking list. Let's just see how many sort of Surveil lands and things. So we've got a Thundering Falls, a Lush Portico. Okay, so two Surveil lands, and Xander's Lounge is our trio of choice. So we're going to want to pair this with Temple Garden to get full domain on turn 2, if we don't have Leyline. Sideboard. Oh, the other thing is two Fable of the Mirror Breaker in the main, which I'm not too sure about, but yeah, definitely, it's a very powerful card. So sideboard is pretty much what we'd expect. Two Commandeer though. Not sure what we're commandeering at the moment. I guess things like out of Eldrazi, like big Kozilek's commands and things can be good. Planeswalkers, and then Inevitable Betrayal for the big creature deck. So yeah, excited to give this a go. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Do excuse my little bit of a husky voice today, just on the back end of a cold. Take this opportunity as usual to plug my Manatraders partnership. If you are interested in Magic Online, please do consider using the code in the description below. Good for 40% back on your third month of subscription. I obviously do get a little bit of a kickback, but I can highly recommend Manatraders. I've been using them for must be about 6 years now, and yeah, just really good to play all the decks I want. So yeah, do consider them for your Modo needs. Okay, so here I think we're mulliganing this. We need to find lands on the play. Yeah, this is fine. On the play, turn 2 Ice, turn 3 Cascade, and we have a Force. Gonna put back Basic Forest, I think. Yeah, we'll just lead on a fetch land, and then we'll either go and get Grixis Triome or a Surveil land, depending on what we see. Flooded Strand. So against Flooded Strand, I think I'm going to leave our Surveil lands in the deck for now, I think. Just get Xander's Lounge. Okay. Now that we've drawn the Surveil land, I'm worried that if we shock in, the opponent will smell a rat and not fetch, but I think that's fine. Because we can potentially tap something end of turn. They do fetch. I mean, this sequence isn't the most common anymore. Thundering Falls. Okay, so it's Jeskai. So we're just going to ice here. This stops them either playing... Oh, Leyline does pitch to Force as well. Yeah, either stop them playing like a Thunderstruck Trainer if they're on Jeskai Wizards, or so they can flare, or having Counterspell up. Although there is Lush Portico, Arena of Glory. So this looks like Zoo. So we're just going to go land. It's not going to be a Blood Moon matchup, I don't think. We want double blue, really. So Hallowed Fountain. The only other double requirements? Not really. I'll just get Hallowed Fountain. Just cascade away. make 8 power, so you go holding up force. Okay, Carvu. See if they have the swamp to make these bigger than our rhinos. They do, so what we're going to want to do here is just attack with one rhino because Ardent Plea makes it big enough to tank. Oh, okay, well we can just do that. So the problem is Stubborn Denial. And we can't, because this is a tap land. I'm going to play the tap land first. Plains, we don't want that. So if we go, the thing is, if we go Leyline Binding and they go... Actually, they can't. Can they? They can't, no, they can stub. I think... Oh, what we can do is attack with both, and then when they fetch, yeah, that's the way we do it. Yep, found the line. So we'll attack with both, and then when they crack their Wooded Foothills to make this a 5/5, then we'll just cast Leyline Binding to play around Stubborn Denial. Yep. Force not the best in this matchup, but... They are, well, they are a Leyline Binding deck. I probably will force a Leyline Binding here. Definitely forcing that one. Okay, so we're going to get to put the opponent to 2 here. We'll play the Arid Mesa. Opponent's on 2. Wooded Foothills. They can fetch with this to go to 1. If they dash a Ragavan, I will Surveil to make sure they don't hit, like a Scion. See what they have. Got 4 cards in hand. I think I force a Leyline Binding. Because if we let it go and then they play Carvu, that's pretty awful. I think I'm forcing most non-creature stuff here. Not Fable. Flage. Okay, Flage is fine. They go to 5. Still dead to our Rhinos. So what they yeah, okay, so they must have Leyline Binding. Let's go Lush Portico. Brazen Borrow. I don't think it matters. I'm going to put that on top actually, because if they have Leyline Binding, it's just another option to get out of it. Because if you bounce the Leyline with the trigger on the stack, oh, the opponent had to wait until now to do it, because otherwise we attack with Exalted. So it couldn't do this in our upkeep. So Force of Negation actually came in pretty clutch there. What do we want? Could consider Force of Vigor. I don't think Force of Negation is that good, although it came in well there. Force of Vigor kills... I mean, we saw Fable if they go ley line, we kind of need it. Maybe one endurance. Subtlety's good. Dead Gone kills a turn 1 Ragavan, which is quite important. I think we'll go with that. We definitely want the ley line Scion. If they were paying attention to Modo, they would have seen us exile leyline to force of negation, but you know, easily missed online. Right, this hand, so this would need to go and get white blue, which we do run. I think this is okay. We have an answer to Ragavan. We have turn 2 binding if we need it, and we have a subtlety kicker in case they. I mean, they haven't gone leyline, but if they went leyline Scion, that would be a good way out of it. Okay, just a triome for our opponent. I think I'm just going to play fetch land, although we don't have a blue-white surveil. So we draw. Okay, land is actually fine. So now we need white and black, which we can't actually get with one land. So I think we just go and get Lush Portico here. And then we can pair it with the Steam Vents next turn. I don't know if we're running a Sacred Foundry if they dash a Ragavan, but I don't think that's likely. What do we think the opponent's brought in? So they often do run, as every blue deck does, apart from ours, Consigned to Memory, which does stop Cascade. Okay, so this is looking like a Scion. High Noon. Okay, I wasn't expecting that one, but that's fine. We can binding that. So I want to go and get Lush Portico. Yeah, we're in for a Brazen Borrower. So go that, and then do I just want to binding now? I think so. Brazen Borrower as well is a good one to pitch to Subtlety. Okay, they have another High Noon. Okay, leyline, not really what we want. I'm going to shock this in because of Stubborn Denial. And also we may want to gone something, it's doubtful. Okay, they didn't fetch there, which indicates they do have a stub or a consign. I think I am just going to bounce here. And then we'd quite like to draw a land. I mean, careful what you wish for, I guess. Okay, so let's just go. I'm going to Cascade because next turn they're going to. They're going to have replay High Noon. Ooh, I wonder. Okay, they get Thundering Falls. Oh, they could binding our binding. Okay. That makes sense. Didn't think about that one. So he can't actually cast the Rhinos. We make our agents and then just surveil. Well, we'll graveyard that one. So it really depends on what the opponent does now. Like we can just play like a tempo game. Which, given the opponent's not doing anything, I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, we draw a land. How good is that? I could chuck it in and play Leyline, but then I think I'm just going to play it and pass, hold up subtlety. I'm not sure what's in the opponent's hand. It must be very reactive. I'm just going to play Brazen Borrower here, actually. I did forget about Brazen Borrower. The High Noon is actually very conducive to our sort of tempo game. Because subtlety now is just pretty much, you know, they can't consign it or anything. Let's cast Brazen Borrower. I remember, sound very old, but I remember I remember when Brazen Borrower was a 4 of in this deck. Okay, we draw a land, which does let us cast Scion here. No, because we haven't got an untapped black, I don't think. I don't think we have untapped black. Let's have a look. No. Okay, so we'll just grab Xander's Lounge. But I don't want to... yeah, I don't want to expose Scion without holding up subtlety. Do I just subtlety now? Yeah, I think so. Like, this High Noon is really hurting the opponent. Like, we're just able to play the tempo game. They can't do anything about this subtlety. They can't cast any more spells this turn. We could actually cast... No, I was going to say we could go Leyline and Scion, but obviously High Noon prevents that. Another Borrower is nice. Does this give... This gives all of our stuff hexproof. How much are we hitting for? 3, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's try and give all of our stuff hexproof. They could have consigned for this. Yeah. Okay, so I think the opponent's gone heavy on the consigns. But there's not much they can do now. Yeah. So the High Noon really hurt them there. We were just able to play a better tempo game, and I think they were just holding a handful of consigns and stubs. But yeah, move on to round number 2. Right, on the play again, which is obviously good. Oh, this is awkward. I think I'm going to keep it because we can go put Leyline onto the field. I'm not going to put both on, which is something we often do. But this time, because we have subtlety in hand, it's good to have a card to pitch. I think I'm just going to play Mountain so that we have Leyline Binding available. We go Marsh Flats, pass. Okay, so we do need to find another land. Dagon, not really what we want. Marsh Flats probably indicates like Esper or like some sort of blink deck. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to Subtlety a Frog. I think I'll just Binding it. Yeah. Ooh, they discard Atraxas. This is actually Goryo's Vengeance. Gonna need to find a force now, really. We also need a land. Eesh. Okay, I fear this matchup is not going to be great, especially pre-board. Still no third land is obviously awkward. If they go for like Goryo's here, they do. I'm going to Binding now because if they have Force of Negation, they have Force of Negation. But they're quite likely to find it from... Yeah, okay. Let's see what they hit. They are running to Fairy as well. They've hit the Ephemerate. I'm just going to concede. What I kind of don't want is... They probably think we're Zoo at the moment, which isn't a bad place to be. I think here we definitely want... I think we're going to make the switch to Inevitable Betrayal. We want all of the disputes, all of the endurances. Gain control of target non-creature spell. So Goryo's doesn't work because it has to be from your graveyard. So we could only put something from our graveyard on. And I think if it has no targets, I'm not sure if it fizzles or what. But yeah, I don't think that's what we want to be doing. Dead Gone is not great. Subtlety for Emperor of Bones, etc. I think Leyline is probably fine. Fable's probably a bit slow. I guess Commandeer for Teferi. Maybe a one-off Commandeer is fine. Like, they do run things like... Well, Thoughtseize isn't great, though. I think we'll just go with that. Good to bring in the Inevitable Betrayals because the opponent's probably bringing in Wrath of the Skies as well. So we'll lead off with Leyline again. I'm going to need to find a land, but we can surveil with this Arid Mesa. Okay, glad to not see a Thoughtseize. So we'll go and just grab Thundering Falls, I think. Well, okay. We'll go for it. Hopefully they don't have Consign. They have Consign. But at least that is a Consign that can't take our Ardent Plea trigger. Do we Subtlety a Frog here to stop them? So you go Subtlety, Bounce, pitch Brazen Borrower. No, I don't think so. Well, maybe we were meant to do that. So they couldn't discard. We do find this. They have 5 cards in hand. I mean, it's not getting any better. I think we have to go for it here. Like, they could have more consigns. They could have... You know, if they've got Force, they might have sided out Force. So they're playing Riddler. We could play... So what are we putting in? Do we put Grizzlebrand? Or do I put Atraxa? What can we tell about their hand as well? Okay, so they have Goryo's next turn. I think I'm going to go... I think I'm going Grizzlebrand here. So that we can try and draw a Force. Because we can look at 14 cards with Grizzlebrand. Oh, I should have looked at more there. But they do have Goryo's and Atraxa in hand. No Force. Obviously we have to discard. Let's discard lands. I do want my next land though. Might as well, yeah, I think it's fine. So we can draw another 7, look for Force of Negation, which I think we do. What would be nice is if they went to Fairy. We go Subtlety the Teferi. So they fetch first. This implies they have Mystical Dispute or something. I'm going to want to draw 7 anyway. I think. We do find a Force. We find 2 Forces. Okay. So let's go Force, this, pitching Shardless Agent. We don't need a Shardless Agent. We only have 1 more Cascader. Okay, they didn't actually have Solitude. We have the Subtlety, pitching Brazen Borrower. Okay, well, yeah. So I think Grizzlebrand. I mean, just because it won the game doesn't mean it was necessarily correct. But yeah, I think that's fine. So yeah, no, don't think there's anything I want to change. Right, on the play again, which is obviously good. Oh, this is awkward. I think I'm going to keep it because we can go put Leyline onto the field. I'm not going to put both on, which is something we often do. But this time, because we have Subtlety in hand, it's good to have a card to pitch. I think I'm just going to play Mountain so that we have Leyline Binding available. We go Marsh Flats, pass. Okay, so we do need to find another land. They're gone, not really what we want. Marsh Flats probably indicates like Esper or like some sort of blink deck. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to Subtlety a Frog. I think I'll just Binding it. Yeah. Ooh, they discard Atraxas. This is actually Goryo's Vengeance. Gonna need to find a force now, really. We also need a land. Eesh. Okay, I fear this matchup is not going to be great, especially pre-board. Still no third land is obviously awkward. If they go for like Goryo's here, they do. I'm going to Binding now because if they have Force of Negation, they have Force of Negation. But they're quite likely to find it from... Yeah, okay. Let's see what they hit. They are running to Fairy as well. They've hit the Ephemerate. I'm just going to concede. What I kind of don't want is... They probably think we're Zoo at the moment, which isn't a bad place to be. I think here we definitely want... I think we're going to make the switch to Inevitable Betrayal. We want all of the disputes, all of the endurances. Gain control of target non-creature spell. So Goryo's doesn't work because it has to be from your graveyard. So we could only put something from our graveyard on. And I think if it has no targets, I'm not sure if it fizzles or what. But yeah, I don't think that's what we want to be doing. Dead Gone is not great. Subtlety for Emperor of Bones, etc. I think Leyline is probably fine. Fable's probably a bit slow. I guess Commandeer for Teferi. Maybe a one-off Commandeer is fine. Like they do run things like, well, Thoughtseize isn't great though. I think we'll just go with that. Good to bring in the Inevitable Betrayers because the opponent's probably bringing in Wrath of the Skies as well. So we'll lead off with Leyline again. I'm going to need to find a land, but we can surveil with this Arid Mesa. Okay, glad to not see a Thoughtseize. So we'll go and just grab Thundering Falls, I think. Well, okay. We'll go for it. Hopefully they don't have Consign. They have Consign. But at least that is a Consign that can't take our Ardent Plea trigger. Do we Subtlety a Frog here to stop them? So you go Subtlety, Bounce, Pitch, Brazen Borrower. No, I don't think so. Well, maybe we were meant to do that. So they couldn't discard. We do find this. They have 5 cards in hand. I mean, it's not getting any better. I think we have to go for it here. Like, they could have more consigns. They could have... You know, if they've got force, they might have sided out force. So they're playing Riddler. We could play... So what are we putting in? Do we put Grizzlebrand? What do I put? Atraxa? What can we tell about their hand as well? Okay, so they have Goryo's next turn. I think I'm going to go... I think I'm going Grizzlebrand here. So that we can try and draw a force. Because we can look at 14 cards with Grizzlebrand. Oh, I should have looked at more there. But they do have Goryo's and Atraxa in hand. No force. Obviously we have to discard. Let's discard lands. I do want my next land though. Might as well, yeah, I think it's fine. So we can draw another 7, look for force of negation, which I think we do. What would be nice is if they went to Fairy. We go Subtlety, the Teferi. So they fetch first. This implies they have Mystical Dispute or something. I'm going to want to draw 7 anyway. I think. We do find a force. We find 2 forces, okay. So let's go force, this, pitching Shardless Agent. We don't need a Shardless Agent. We only have 1 more Cascader. Okay, they didn't actually have Solitude. We have the Subtlety, pitching Brazen Borrower. Okay, well, yeah. So I think Grizzlebrand, I mean, just because it won the game doesn't mean it was necessarily correct. But yeah, I think that's fine. So yeah, no, don't think there's anything I want to change. Right, so we have Subtlety. We have turn 3 Cascade, turn 4 Cascade with the Subtlety. Gonna keep this one. In this instance, I probably will Subtlety a Frog. Because we can Brazen Borrow over it, but... Okay, now we're definitely Subtletying it. Because what we don't want is them just going turn 2. We don't want... Frog here is essentially just a discard outlet. They put 1 on top. Because yeah, them going... With our hand as it is, them going Frog next turn, we haven't got an answer for Goryo's, is how we lose this one. because this pretty much prevents next turn Goryo's. Okay, so they go Psychic Frog on the top. We'll go and get... I think I do want a Surveil land. Go and get Thundering Falls. Ugh, don't want that one. Okay, we have to obviously have to graveyard that. Okay, land go. Putting that in the graveyard is actually really annoying because... Okay, there's the frog. I think I'm just going to Brazen Borrower that. So we need green. I don't think it's basic forest. We probably want double blue breeding pool because then we have the basic plains. I kind of want them to Mystical Dispute this. Okay, they don't. The trouble is, because we put Inevitable Betrayal into the graveyard, I think I was going to play land and say go. I mean, just thinking, because if they have Consign, it's fine to Cascade there. But if they have Mystical Dispute, it's awful. I probably should have gone for it there. I suppose we could draw a Dispute. I'm going to cast the Borrower. Okay, we find Force of Negation. I think I'm going to go for it here. And hope they have Consign. So we want them to have... Yeah, okay. So I should have gone for it last turn, really. Because then we could have Consigned again. I'm not going to attack because I want to block this frog. They did miss a land. What we kind of want them to do is just go sort of, I don't know, something like Teferi. They could have another Consign, I guess. Quantum Riddler's fine. They could have Ephemerate. Looks like they're looking for lands. I will block here. Oh, I'm mistaken with Brazen Borrower. I should have attacked last turn. I forgot it can block only creatures with flying. It's not that... Yeah. That was really dumb. Okay. Do I have... I'm just going to force this. And then just hope they don't have a force of their own. If they have force, it we're probably cooked, unless we draw a Dispute. I'm going to play the Ardent Plea because it lets our Borrower attack for 5. Do they have force? Yeah. And another Consign. Okay. So now the problem is Both of our inevitable betrayals are gone. We do have endurance to play around it, like we can endurance ourselves, but whether we'd want to use it in that case. Indulgence. Well, there's Brazen Borrowers attacking for 5 a turn in the air, which isn't awful. They discard Thoughtseize. They don't discard Atraxa or anything. Okay, no, still no land. Binding's a good draw. Attack for lots. Question is, do I save the binding now? If they have another consign, it's, or yeah, I think I'm just going to save it. They do finally find another land, but what we don't want. Okay, there's the Riddler. That's fine. I think now we let Frog hit us if they attack with it, which they don't. See if they have a consign here. Looks like they do. Okay, so it's a 4/6. So I'm just going to go binding. What are we binding? I think I'm binding the Riddler because we can't kill that with the Borrower. Another Ardent Plea. Well, so that would make this a 6. At the moment, it will be a 5/3. I'm going to play it. Because the more power the Borrower has, the more cards they have to discard. They'll probably discard the lot, to be fair. They get to see our entire deck. Is there a world when we don't attack? Is there a world we should have played Shardless Agent? So this becomes now a 6/4. They have to discard 3 cards, but they do lose their Frog. I think we're meant to attack. So yeah, 3 triggers. I could have waited for a Fire Ice or something. Like this way we get to kill the Frog and empty their hand. They could just chump. Depending on what they have. Surveil into the graveyard is good for us. If they discard... they need to discard 3 cards. Okay, they do discard everything, including Agorio's Vengeance. Okay, so they have 1 card in hand. Hopefully it's not another Frog. Tainted Indulgence is just a draw 2. I'm going to cast Shardless Agent here because with all these Ardent Pleas it is lethal. Okay, well, here come the 2/2s. So our best draws are things like Endurance. Fire Ice would be fine. Are they going to dispute this? Surely not. I suppose they can consign all of our all of our exalted triggers, which is interesting. Surveil into the graveyard. Hopefully this isn't okay. It's to Fairy, which is, yeah, it's annoying. They're going to bounce our Shardless Agent. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, Force Negation's a dead draw. Put another 2/2 onto the stack. Subtlety. Okay. So we'll bottom that one. We could top it. There's no harm in topping there. But we do have another one. Don't really want to draw it again, I suppose. Okay, they have Riddler. That makes sense. Yeah, I did forget about the Riddler. Endurance. I think I'd rather do that. They haven't got any big creatures in their graveyard. So I think I'm just going to cast it. It's also a bigger body. We need to get rid of Teferi now. Teferi's been a bane of Rhinos for a long time. Oh, Faithful Mending's pretty good. Actually, Faithful Mending's really good. They discard a Traxxas. Gorio's is probably game over. Yeah. Oh, I feel like that was close. How can we possibly get out of this? I don't know. We'll see how they attack. Did they find a Solitude? They did find Ephemerate. Oh, so we can't get through this anyway. We'd need, what, Bounce Spell. Okay, they do attack with the Riddler. Oh, but they have... Did they choose... Yeah, okay. That was actually quite close. A lot closer than, you know, than I would have thought. I think actually if we hadn't drawn that other Inevitable Betrayal, that was huge. Which is the problem with siding them in and only running 2 in the board. But there we go. We'll take that and move on to round number 3. Right, round number 3, gonna lead off with a Mulligan 1-lander, and this is better. Gonna keep it. This can suspend. We can go and get Temple Garden, and then so then we go and get Temple Garden, and then play Grixis Triome, so we can Binding. So it's one of these. I think it's force, because if we bottom borrow, we haven't got another blue card anyway. So could have thought about bottoming a land. I think, yeah. Given that we want to draw a Cascader and, well, given that we want to draw a Cascader, upping that to needing to draw a Cascader and a land is potentially bad. And we do have interaction. Yeah, we do have some interaction here. So we'll go Temple Garden, suspend Footfalls, and then we can go Xander's Lounge tapped, potentially play them binding something, and then we've got Brazen Borrow as well. So not a bad game plan. See what the opponent is on. They've kept 7. Right, looks like it's mill. So I'm going to fetch. We have to fetch pretty much. A Temple Garden. We're not going to fetch any more though, so hopefully they don't have Archive Trap. They don't. I guess I should think about subtletying another crab. Okay, they don't have another crab. They could Surgical Footfalls here. Okay, we do have one on suspend. We will be binding this crab straight away. Sharpest Agent, 2 Crashing Footfalls gone, so I mean, a Cascader is still an okay draw. The trouble is they can also, if we commit 3 mana to Cascading and then they Surgical the Footfalls with the Cascader on the stack, it's really awkward. Okay, draw another land. So let's play Xander's Lounge and pass. And then in the opponent's upkeep, we'll binding the crab. Right, the opponent surgically extracts Sharpest Agent. So I guess actually, yeah, there's 6 cards in, so they can't drown, and they can drown in the lock anyway. So yeah, I should have bindinged in my opponent's end, in our end step there, because now they can drown the binding, and we're pretty screwed. Yeah, that was a mistake. I was F6 and so we're kind of looking for a Cascader, I guess. We only have 3 Ardent Pleas left. We have 36 cards in library though. I think I'm just going to go Hallowed Fountain. Force is a pretty good draw. Could consider bouncing with Brazen Borrower, but I don't think that's what we want to do. Okay. There's another Ardent Plea. Opponent's got 3 cards in hand. Just going to cast the Brazen Borrower as a 3/1. Some of the cards in their hand are probably something like Fatal Push. They do run a lot. They haven't got any way to get Revolt though at the moment. If they drown this, I'm not going to force it. They're probably waiting to drown the Footfalls. See what we can draw. Okay, we're not using the Flooded Strand. A draw step pause indicates that they have another surgical effect. Okay, subtlety. We obviously have one in hand. It's not milling us for any. So I think I'm letting this go. Like, I could force it and then subtlety next turn, but right, so yeah, it doesn't mill us for any. I don't, because we only run 3 subtleties. So now I'm just going to play the planes, start attacking. And then next turn we can force like a, I don't know, a big mill spell or a counter spell on our Rhinos. Okay, we are suffering versus this crab though. I will fight over the Rhinos because they're lethal next turn. But it's got 2 cards in hand. Opponent fetches. So mills us again. Fatal push. Yeah, that's fine. Rather keep the force for something else. They have 1 card in hand. They've been a crab. Yeah, so we force the drown. Do I fetch now? Do we have a Lush Portico left? Lush Portico's gone. Thundering Fall is gone. I'm just not going to. I'm going to leave the card in our library. Ardent Plea doesn't actually do anything, I don't think. Oh no, it does. It makes more Rhinos. 1 card in the opponent's hand. But yeah, we had to force the drown, obviously. We got 24 cards in library. What do we want to draw? Binding would be fine. Although I don't know how many of those are still left. They're all gone. Force is probably our best draw. So opponent fractures, sanities us. We go to 9 cards in library. So let's just go attack. Opponent goes to 4. I'm not going to Ardent Plea, I'm just going to play the Scion. And the reason for that is the 1 card, the 1 Crashing Footfalls could matter. Okay, they find a land. I don't think they can do anything though. Okay. So that's good. Right, we have Endurances to bring in, Mystical Disputes. Commandeer is probably fine. We need to think about Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Don't think Leyline is what we want. It's also acceptable to go up lands. Yeah, we need to think about Ensnaring Bridge. Commandeer here is pretty much just like a like Force of Negation. Just going to turn the opponent's spell back on themselves. The Dead Gods are not. I'm not too enthused by them or the subtleties. I think we'll just trim. I'll keep 61, but Dead Gone is fine against one of the crabs. Maybe we're meant to keep that in for that reason. But maybe it's better than Fable. Right, decent hand here. Again, going to lead off with the same way. Just go Temple Garden. We don't have any way to stop. Oh, hold on. Again, I should have subtletied that, I think. So we'll go land. Temple Garden. I guess Surveil lands aren't great in the face of Mill anyway. We're probably just leaving them on top, whatever it is. Okay. What if there's not more than one archive trap in the opponent's hand? Yeah, probably should have thought about subtletying the crab. They could have second crab, which I will subtlety. Pitching. They don't have second crab. Yeah, we're pretty much leaving on top whatever we see with Wooded Foothills. Preordain, okay. Commandeer is also a good one to put in for. They might, seeing as they saw Scion, they might side out the Hideous Laughter. But having more expensive spells is a good counter to that. Playing Field of Ruin second means they may not have any more lands. If we draw a fetch land, no, we won't be using it. So they went 2 top. I suppose icing a land is actually pretty good. Okay, we do find it. Okay, they got surgical. I wonder what else surgical. Could be Charlotte's Agent, which we do have one. It's a bit annoying to let them see our hand. Okay, they're surgicalling Charlotte's Agent. This does make our decision this turn easier. So what we're going to do is go... yeah, I think we're just going to go ice the Ottawara. Yeah, we do have. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Pass the turn. Ice here. So this stops them field ruining us. It stops them playing like certain spells. Okay, they find a fetch land. Also stops them going crab into fetch land. Okay, so there's Commandeer. Okay, they have brought in Consign, which is good to know about. We've got 25 cards left. Right, so let's just go Thundering Falls. We're leaving anything on top here. And then, do we suspend? I don't think we're going to suspend another Footfalls. I think I'm just going to Brazen Borrower right now. Because that might make it more awkward for them. If they don't have another land, they can't Field of Ruin next turn. Oh, again, I've been stupid there. I should have subtletied it, pitching Ardent Plea, probably. There is an Endurance in the graveyard. Endurance obviously very strong in this matchup. And does lead us to wanting to keep Crashing Footfalls around. So there's 1 Crashing Footfalls on suspend, 2 in hand. Let's see what we draw. I think I'm probably just slamming Ardent Plea here. How many base? I think looks like we do have all our base 6 left. Oh, there's a Plains there. Can't remember which other one we run. I think, but we definitely have a basic of some description. Float blue. I might just cast a subtlety, honestly. Get forest for endurance. What red have we got left? Just fable. I think forest for endurance is better. Do I cast a subtlety here? I don't think so. Find another ardent plea, which we'll cast. They could have another consign to memory. Yeah, okay. So 2 cards in hand for the opponent. Need to find endurance, really. Okay, opponent just passes. We're going to make some Rhinos this turn. There's no crashing footfalls in the bin, so... I think we still have a mountain. Yeah. Although now we can't cast Ardent Plea. I should have floated blue to cast this Brazen Borrower. Archive Trap again is enough to just mill us out. Okay. Game 2 to the opponent. Anything we want to change? Don't think so. I think I will bring in the extra subtlety. Submit 62. I don't like going, you do see some schools of thought of just putting all of your sideboard in, but I don't. That's better if some of your cards are better, and it helps if you've got lands like Boseiju in the side, so your land count can remain the same, or like the ratio of lands, but here, no Boseijus in this list. Let's check what basics we're running. No basic island in this one. Interesting that we run a basic mountain now, because Harbinger of the Seas is much more common than Blood Moon. Right, yep, be on the play. I mean, this hand has endurance in it, so pretty much a snap keep. What does it need? It needs red. We can't get Stomping Ground. I think I'm just going Hallowed Fountain, yes, pass, because then we can Mystical Dispute a crab. Do we Mystical Dispute a crab is another op point. I think we do. Okay, opponent doesn't do anything, just surveilling. They put a crab into the graveyard. Okay, that's not bad. So if we go and get Stomping Ground, no, we can't get Stomping Ground with this. But Actually, this just needs to get green now. I think we just play Xander's Lounge and pass. Next turn we'll go fetch Temple Garden. Obviously want to keep our basics in. Another endurance is nice. Okay, so let's go land. I'm going to fetch a Temple Garden and then just play a Scion, hold up Xander's Lounge. Okay, that's fine. Temple Garden. So now, no, I'm still casting Scion because I don't want them to archive trap me. I want to be able to Mystical Dispute and archive trap. We've been representing this Mystical Dispute since turn 1. They probably pretty switched on to the fact that we have it. I'm just going to dispute that. Another crab, okay. If we draw a land, ooh, dispute. I'm just going to Ardent Plea. While they haven't got blue mana up. And it lets us smash in for 5 here. And now we pretty much don't cast another spell until we have to. If they field us, we can get green, which hard casts an endurance, which is nice. One point, obviously, is endurance can save you from surgical extraction on your stuff. It cannot save from something like... push is fine. Yeah, it can't save from extirpate. But all we're looking to do here is land this endurance holding up one of these spells. Consign to Memory is a good answer to endurance that we can't really play too much around. Deckon not the best draw. Okay, we'll float blue. This is actually really good because now we can go get a forest. Let them mill us. And then... do we just cast endurance now? I think so. Because we can still dispute a what's it called? An archive trap. Push on the endurance and then surgical is annoying. Okay, they extirpate crushing footfalls, but that's fine. like I say, we're not really interested in casting too many spells now. So we shuffle our entire graveyard in. Attack for 8. Should turn off. Yeah, I shouldn't have been yielding there because we would have wanted to dispute a archive trap. Opponent could push the endurance, but we've got 3 cards in hand. We've got 45 cards in library and a big board. I guess something like, okay, they concede. Something like Damnation plus like some sort of Spell Pierce, Mystical Dispute effect. But yeah, endurance coming in key. You don't see many endurances these days, which is a surprise because it is, you know, it's a free spell. I guess it's not great. It's fine against energy. It's not great against a lot of the other matchups. And Living End, especially for Rhinos, is just awful anyway. So, yeah. But, yeah, 2 and 1. Let's play round 4. Right, this hand's fine. You know, it has a ley line in it, which is good if we can find a Scion. Okay, we're against Eldrazi. This hand is probably not the best here. I guess we haven't got the cards for subtlety. What we wanted to see for this one is something like a, I don't know, like a creature deck that we could dead gone and make use of our subtlety. Okay, we draw a land. Let's go Strand, Suspend, go. Could be Thought Not Seer. Or does he Tron doing the rounds quite a lot these days? This is where subtlety would have been good if we had a blue card. Flesh Raker. That dies to, oh. Okay, so it's this version. I'm just gonna straight up kill this and then go Portico, Graveyard. I thought it was just Eldrazi. I didn't fully realise that Broodscale had adopted the Devourer Labyrinth stuff. Although I think I have played against this version before. Kozilek's Command, pretty good against us. Another subtlety. I think we'll just go land pass. As in, yeah, untap land. And I think I'm going to try and cycle this Xander's Lounge. Okay, opponent making a load of stuff. So yeah, we could Surveil, but I think I'm just going to cycle the Lounge. Uses our mana a little bit better. Another Temple. They could Emrakul us here. Or like Sire of Seven Deaths. I don't think they run that. Well, Vexing Bauble, okay. The main deck Vexing Bauble really does us in here. Is this now going to be Emrakul? Yeah, okay. So main deck Vexing Bauble. I mean, we were pretty dead there anyway. Okay, Force of Vigor in. Is this a matchup for inevitable betrayal? Yeah, it is. So we can cut the Footfalls. Conqueror, yes. Charmor, and probably Commandeer, honestly. Subtlety's fine. Force is okay. Fable's a little bit slow, and I don't think we want the ley lines. I'm a little bit concerned about the blue card count for Commandeer, but I think it's fine. What about the green card count for Force? We have Charlotte's Agent. That's it. Do we want Force of Negation? Would we rather have something like Endurance? Blade is obviously really good. They are a Saga deck, so we definitely want to be able to do this. But we do want the Dead Gones. Subtlety. Again, Subtlety's pretty good. Borrower. Force is good into Rumble and stuff. Fire Ice. I think I want to just trim some Fire Ices. Could consider trimming Scion, honestly. I think I'm just going to put Endurances in. I really want just a little bit of extra green for this Force. Okay. So we have Commandeer. We are cascading on turn 3. I think this is okay. I can. Oh, given this Scion, do we want to just go? Yeah, I think I'm actually going to try and play the Scion on 2. Get the clock going. Also keeps blue cards in hand. It means we can't cascade on 3. But we might draw another land. Probably not going to look for a land though. Okay. So them leading on Urza Saga probably means they have a very quick hand. Okay, another Scion. So we are rewarded for this line because now we can go Scion, Scion. If they... see what they do here. Okay, there's a Flesh Raker. Another Scion. Okay. Thundering Falls. Yes, we'll have that. I think I need to hold up Brazen Borrower here. If we just go Scion, the chance that we die is just way too high. If they're going to get Vexing Bauble, that's quite annoying. Okay, Springleaf Drum. Another Flesh Raker. Okay. And a Blade. They're going quite wide here. Do we commandeer this is the question. No, I don't think so. We know we've got a kill spell on top. They could have the... okay, there's the Brood Scale. So this is a turn 3. We might even be dead through this. Yeah. Oh, we just... what do we bounce? Oh, we just have to go bounce here. We're not quite dead. But I don't think there's anything we can draw. We don't run sweepers. Oh, well, that was very good. I don't think there was anything we could have done there. I suppose we could have bounced the Flesh Raker, but I was... This is the thing with this deck, you know, they didn't combo us at all there, really. They had the combo on turn 3, but didn't need it to win. Okay, well, we're 2 and 2. We'll, yeah, play for the positive record. Right, yep, we'll be on the play here. I mean, we have Leyline Scion, but we don't have the second land. I'm going to mulligan. If we were on the draw, I'd probably keep. This hand is annoying because we can't do both. So we can go and get Triome, play Temple Garden, Scion on 2. Opponent's kept 7. I think I have to keep bottom of the breeding pool. What we need is a Triome that surveils 1 when it enters. But I don't think they'll be rushing to print those anytime soon. There's a tower. Okay, well, more sort of, yeah, Tronny type stuff. I wonder if I'm meant to surveil now. Let's try and find something to deal with this map. No, I think I'm just going to get the Xander's Lounge and play the Scion. Okay, that's a decent draw. Next turn we can go fetch, play Ardent Plea. Fetch, play Ardent Plea, attack for 5, make, you know, then we've got loads of power for the next turn. If the opponent has Tron, some of the best they can do is just go like Khan Ensnaring Bridge, but they do have 6 cards in hand. See if they play another Tron piece. So yeah, this is probably Eldrazi Tron, which, like I say, I think the trophy leader, who is way out in front on trophies, is playing Eldrazi Tron exclusively. I might try it, actually. I might play some... I played some Eldrazi Tron before. Might play some, because I think the deck's really good. Well positioned at the moment. To that end, please do let me know if there's anything you specifically want to see in the decks. We'll be returning to play some Jund at some point. Okay, Temple is obviously better for us. They're thinking, which might mean they have a Flesh Raker. Okay, they're just waiting on that. Binding. Okay, so turn too late, but I'm going to go and get blue here to some description. Yeah, we definitely... Well, we do have blue here. It's if we draw Force. Don't think we want extra red. Let's get extra white, I think. Obviously breaking the normal timing with this. They do also sometimes run... sorry, I'll finish my first thought first. Breaking normal timing, normally we'd cast spells post-combat, but here we want the extra point of damage from Scion, because it turns potentially, you know, it increases our clock by a turn, hitting for 5 a turn instead of 4, against a deck that doesn't lose any life from their lands. And then my other thought was they do now run... I think stock is 2 copies of Warping Whale. Crashing Footfalls, despite being sort of cast at instant speed, is a sorcery, so they can counter it with Warping Whale. but still worth going for it there. Like I say, it increases our clock with Scion, and if they Warping Whale, they can't crack the map. Really depends what they have. Kozilek's Command is a bit of a beating as well because it just exiles a Rhino. Okay, they crack the map. See what they go and get. I would imagine, I don't know, if they didn't have another Tron piece, they'll just get another Temple. Okay, they do get another Tron piece. So I think they possibly have Thought Not Seer in hand. So next turn, but Thought Not Seer is fine. Don't mind too much about that. They'll Thought Not Seer, take Binding, and then we just attack with everything. If they want to trade Thought Not Seer for a Rhino, that's okay. Now we have 12 power and they're at 15. At least Kozilek's Command only makes 0 1s that we can trample over. There's the mine. Is Thought Not Seer, or are they going to K Command? I think they run maybe 1 main deck Dismember, maybe 2. But at this point, you know, it does the same amount of damage for a turn. Some lists run Chalice of the Void in the main, but it's not that common. Okay, they do have a Flesh Raker. I wonder if I'm meant to Binding that. Don't know, we'll do some maths in a sec. Okay, we draw Stomping Ground, which is obviously no good. Let's just go to combat. Attack with everything. I wouldn't imagine there'll be a block here. Okay, they go to 3. Let's Surveil. Scion. So we don't mind about All Is Dust. They can't kill this with things like Devourer or Ugin. I think we just graveyard that. Do a Footfalls. Now the question is, do we Binding this now? Let's say they go Tron, they've got 9 mana, they can Kozilek's Command for 7, which shoots us for 8. It's that being a problem versus Khan Bridge. But they search for this. I don't think they have Tron. Binding's not great against like Ugin or whatever. Do we Binding this? Let me know what you do here. Interesting spot. Unless if they complete Tron, let's say they go Khan Bridge. I think I'm Binding the Flesh Raker. I think what's doing it for me is if they find something, we don't want them to generate the mana from this. I also have seen some silly Flesh Raker kills. You know, look at last game, we just got absolutely hosed by Flesh Raker. If they go Tron, Flesh Raker, make mana, ping us, Kozilek's Command, we could die. I don't think they have the Tron land in hand. They may draw it, they may have been sandbagging it, but I can't see them sandbagging it really, especially since they didn't play the Flesh Raker on turn 2. So, yeah. Okay, so we do get there. We'll never know if that was correct or not. The winning play is not always the correct play. Is this an inevitable betrayal matchup? Would we rather have 2 Rhinos or a Sire of 7 Deaths? Don't know. Let's bring in the things we definitely want. So we definitely want Charmor. Yeah, we want Conqueror because it turns off the Scions as well. I think, yeah, we want Commandeer. Dead Gone is only good against Flesh Raker. I don't think that's a good enough reason to keep it in. Force of Vigor for Khan is probably good enough. Again, I'm a bit low on green cards. Mystical Dispute's not great. Fable is a little bit slow. What do we think of that? If we keep increasing footfalls, we're better for Force of Vigor. Like Inevitable Betrayal, the only real, like they don't really run the monsters like Emrakul and stuff anymore. It's Devourer and Sire of 7 Deaths. Sire of 7 Deaths is obviously good, and it doesn't die to opposing like exile coloured things effects, but I think I'd rather just have the Footfalls, especially with Force of Vigor. Yeah, if they show us something different, like if this could find Planeswalkers, then fine, you know, putting a Khan onto the battlefield or whatever. But right, gonna mulligan this one. Conqueror not our best. This hand is very good if we can find a land in 2 draws. We've got 21 left. So what, 2 in 5. So first draw miss is 3 and 5, and then second draw miss again. So what's that? 9 over 25 to miss. So we're 50% to hit, but we could hit a steam vent or something. But being able to force early is good. I'm going to risk it. Like I say, we have... What am I getting rid of? Let's get rid of a binding. Like I think we're over 50% to hit a land. So I think that's a reason to keep. Don't know, again, let me know what you do. It's possible we could have mulliganed, but with the opponent mulliganing to 5 as well, like if we can turn these forces into stuff. I will force a map, and I'm probably pitching Shardless Agent. Well, yeah, probably pitching Shardless Agent. Okay, they do put one on top. They put Wastes, Kozilek's Command, and Mindstone out. I'm going to force this. Alright, let's see our gamble come off. Okay, that's a bad one. Unfortunately, you can't do anything now. Our odds have reduced to less than half now. So we would have had Tron. Come on, land. Fetch land. Okay, yikes. Well, it was a risk, and it didn't pay off. We do have force. Okay, right, land. Okay, this is not good. Obviously can't do anything about a Kozilek's Command here. So yeah, probably try and learn a lesson. I guess we could have mulliganed something like a Charmor. They put None on the Thought Not Seer. Okay, we can't do anything about that. Let's see, because next turn we can. I don't know, they'll probably take the Scion here. Well, Scion's our only threat, but they did have to sack the Scion there, which means they haven't got any more lands in hand. So if we can just find, if they keep missing on lands and we find lands, then we're in with a chance. And Brazen Borrower on the Thought Not Seer is good. Okay, they do take the Scion. Come on, long overdue for a land. Okay, well that is a land. So the question is, do we just Binding the Thought Not Seer or do we bounce it? I might Binding it because Brazen Borrower is a card for force. If that was, yeah, no. I was going to say if that was Temple Garden, that would have been good, but it doesn't really matter. The good thing about bouncing it is they can't replay it again, potentially. Oh, another map. Okay, I'm going to force this. I think that was their draw for turn. So that's just Binding now. We get to draw. Still want lands, really. Something like Redland Charmor or something like that. Okay, we'll take that. Ardent Plea. Another Binding. Yeah, we'll take that as well. To start suspending Footfalls. Right, that's 3 cards in hand. I would imagine, because they definitely thought they were going to get Tron. So they're... Oh, do we know there's... Yeah, there is a Devourer. Okay. They find the power plant, so now they're going to Devour the Binding, to which we... yeah, what do we get? Oh, okay, so we have to get rid of the Thought Not Seer. But they obviously get to see whatever we draw. Okay, a land. Land's good. So now we really want to draw something like Obsidian Charmor. Another Footfalls. I mean, that is the name of the deck. Well, main card at least. Okay, 0 cards in hand for us. They have all the mana in the world. Probably concede to like an Ugin or a Sire of 7 Deaths. Yeah, okay, we've had enough. So we took a risk, and like I say, I think we were 50% to find the land. But, yeah, obviously didn't pay off. So yeah, we'll go first. Okay, this is 2 lands. We have... Yeah, this is okay. This is better than the last one. We have turn 1 Footfalls, turn 2 Binding, and we have Force and Subtlety. This is... throw in... I don't know. This is almost perfect, I'd say. Like, perfect now is drawing another land and then a Charmor. But yeah, see what the opponent does. Thinking on their 7. Okay, so we'll just lead off with Temple Garden. Yep. Suspend. Opponent can, of course, have Chalice. They have 2 Devourers in hand, so 6 cards, 2 of them are Devourer. Let's see if they keep something. Now you have to exile the cards. So if you don't want anything from them, you exile all 4. And obviously from the first one, you look at the top 4, put one back, and then that one is included in the one that you see second. So a bit of a strange card, Devourer. Okay, so they do keep one on top. They exile some powerful stuff, Sire of 7 Deaths, Kozilek's Command, and a Labyrinth. So Labyrinth with Devourer is and Power Plant. Okay. I won't be forcing a map here. Okay, so they exiled a Power Plant. So that probably means, I mean, they could well have a Power Plant in hand. We know they've got 2 Devourers, so they got 4 cards. So we are really after our next land. Oh, that would have been really good. Okay, pass the turn. If this was an untapped land, that ice would have been really good. This list only running 2 fire ice, which is like that's been a 4 of in Rhinos for a long time. See if they've got another Tron piece. Okay, Power Plant as expected. Let's see if we find a land for Shardless Agent. If we don't, we will ice their land. We do find a land. They could have All Is Dust. Let's just cascade here. Put some Rhinos into play. Unless they have the aforementioned Warping Whale. Which they may do. But we've still got some decent stuff in hand. But yeah, putting 10 power in is really good. Obviously we will force a sweeper. They have 2 Devourers in hand. Do they have just Natural Tron? So no Natural Tron, but they do have Thought-Knot Seer. I think I'm going to subtlety this. What are we pitching? Yeah, I'm going to subtlety this. I'm just going to pitch. We can't actually force. So I'm just going to pitch force. And then we're going to ice their land. Which land do we ice is the question. Probably Power Plant. Let's see if they put this on top. They put it on the bottom. Okay. Commandeer. Attack for 10. So now we go... They didn't have Tron last time. Let's go ice. But I'm still going to ice the Tron land because we don't really care about many creatures. I'm going to ice the tower. What we care... Yeah. Like, if they go Temple, they've only got 6 mana. They can't cast Devourer. Even if they do, we can Binding it. If they have another Thought Not Seer, we just Binding it. Well, yeah, our hammer's really good. Okay, so they have another tower. So I'd imagine they have... If we find a blue card... If they don't cast Kozilek's Command now and we find a blue card... Come on. Oh, we don't. Okay. Because, yeah, that would have let us commandeer it. Because they're going to go exile a Rhino. Yeah, they're going to go exile a Rhino, make spawn. That blocks here, so we just... I think I do Binding, actually. They could have another Warping Whale. Okay. So yeah, it was just Warping Whale. It wasn't Kozilek's Command, so yeah, we'll take that. I think, yeah, the deck seemed good. We played against some... like quite a variety of stuff. I'd like to see how it did against Energy, but seemed okay against like Tron. I think Blink would be really hard. Like Solitude Ephemerate is really rough on our Rhinos, but I don't know how to fix that really. But yeah, let me know what you thought. Good to be playing some Rhinos again at any rate, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.